What up, people? Happy Thursday, or whatever day it is that you're watching this video. Wanted to make this quick video, something that has been on my mind, just thinking about the top 5 mistakes I made that I wish I would have knew before I started my company. And it was something that I was getting like a lot of questions about like, what is your advice for somebody just starting, or what is your advice for somebody that wants to start a company, whether that's in high school and just starting out to all the way up to, whoever that case is, you cut that part out, you know what I'm saying? So I'm the type of person that learns through action and through doing and through messing up and understanding, look, you can't do it that way, you gotta figure it out. And so that was kind of like the path that I took. My whole kind of entrepreneurial journey has always been of like, just do and then figure it out. Don't worry about it being the best, and don't worry about you not having all the right resources, financial resources, connections, or whatever. Just start and then you'll figure it out and kind of go from there. So I was just like really trying to figure out what are the top 5 things, some advice that I can share with you guys to just kind of add some value or be able to kind of shed some light, and hopefully you don't have to make the same mistakes that I made. Number 5, overpromising. This was like, I think, especially in the beginning, my eyes were way bigger than the things that I could accomplish and my bandwidth. And so I would overpromise a lot to clients. And so I would say, oh yeah, we can do this, we can give you the world, we can do whatever it is that you want, but not understanding that we don't have the bandwidth and we probably aren't gonna be able to deliver everything that we said we were gonna do. So I kind of learned that on early, of just try to set kind of like a standard tone of what you can do and always try to over accomplish and overachieve with that. Number 4, trusting the process, or should I say not trusting the process. One of the biggest things for me was patience. Patience was something that I really had to kind of like grab a hold of and then understand the process of moving forward. Now, patience is key in any type of anything that you're doing, whether that's starting a business, launching a product, any type of new project or something like that, mastering your craft. It takes time. They say it takes like 10,000 hours to be a master at a certain subject. And so this was one thing that I had to like really overcome, was just trusting the process, understanding that there's certain things that you have to go through in order to grow. And it's funny because in the beginning, when you start something, things will just work out. It's just the weirdest thing. I don't know what it is, but it's just like, it's this weird kind of process of whenever you do something in the beginning, it works. But now the problem comes in when you try it again and it doesn't work. And so that's where it gets a lot of people. So I see a lot of times, even people starting like clothing companies, or they come with us with a project and they have an idea and they do the first run and it's like super successful. And then they come back to do the second one and it doesn't go exactly like the first one, and they get discouraged and they quit. So I really think that the difference between people that succeed and the people that fail is just the people that succeed just keep going. They keep moving through that process even though those times are hard. And so understanding and having faith that it will all work out, but it takes time. Number 3, not putting people in positions to win. This is a huge mistake that I made in the beginning, and something that I think I learned sort of recently. My mentor always said, you can't teach a bear to fly. A bear does what they do, an eagle does what it does. That doesn't make sense. Sometimes when we're working on something, especially in the beginning, and when you have like a limited amount of bandwidth to complete projects or to do something, you have to kind of like use what you have and pull from the resources that you have, whether that's team members or whether that's resources. You have to get creative. Something that I learned was making sure you understand who the person is and putting them in positions to win, especially when you're building a team. A lot of people always ask me like, how do I build a team? What is the secret answer for that? There's no like easy way of doing it. It's hard building a team. It's hard trying to get a group of people on the same page and the same mission, headed towards the same direction. But one thing that I found that makes it very easy, or easier I should say, is that understanding what that person's strength is. Taking that person's strength and putting them in a position to win, instead of taking them and putting in a position that you need them to be, or you would hope they would be good at, but not really being honest and self-aware enough to understand that really isn't that person's strength, which will end up hindering you, because this person could maybe get a little better at how they are or what they can do, but they're not going to be the best at it. So understanding people's strengths and putting them in positions to win, that has been super key, super important. Number 2, not delegating. Now this is hard being an entrepreneur, because especially in the beginning, you have to do everything. So you touch every single part of the process, and it becomes a habit. It becomes kind of one of those things where you feel that it won't get done right if you don't touch it or if you don't do it. But if you want to grow, and if you want to scale, and if you want to become an executive instead of an entrepreneur, like understanding the mindset of building and being in a leadership role, you have to get good at delegating. That has been something that has been challenging for me, because like I said in the beginning, I touched every single part. And I think it's necessary in the beginning. Like, I think it's really good to understand how everything works in your business and get a sense of how things work, but not becoming a master at it. So that way, when you bring people on, you could kind of give them the direction and kind of like shed the vision of like how it's supposed to be, and then they could execute on the work. Delegation is key. You can't grow anything by yourself. You can't do anything great by yourself. You have to have a great team around you. And that's the whole purpose of having a team. You find people that are good at what they do, you put them in positions to win, and you let them be great and do what they do. Now, number 1, the most important thing that I learned was being solution-minded. Now, when I first started, my business partner and I would always like run into issues, right? We would always like, something would always go wrong. That's just the nature of starting a business. That's just the nature of life. Just things go wrong. But what I found is that I would always focus on the problem. I would always dwell on the problem. I would always be like, why is this happening again? And I would always focus on that. Then my business partner would come back 30 minutes, hour later, and be like, all right, look, this is what we're gonna do. And always have a solution. Like, he would always find a way out of the mess that we got ourselves into. And so I just remember like asking him one day, like, how do you always like come up with these solutions to fix stuff? And he was like, look, like, you're focused on the problem. While you're focused on the problem, I'm trying to come up with a solution. I'm trying to figure out a way to fix it. And it really hit me, because I was like, I really had to audit myself. I really had to take a look at like how I handle situations and what I would do. And so once he brought that to my attention, it was kind of crazy, because it was just like this aha moment. It was like this enlightening thing that just like, I get it now, it makes sense. And so I remember trying it in the beginning, and I would like, okay, here's a problem. And I would try not to like panic or over, just, I don't know what word I'm looking for. What is it? Overreact. There we go. You got to think about it too. I would try not to overreact. And so instead of like thinking about the issue, I'll be like, okay, how are we going to fix this? And I just remember the first time I did it, I was like, wow, I actually came up with a solution for this, and it really wasn't that big of a deal. And like, all I have to do is like really focus on finding a way to get out of it, and that's it. And I swear, ever since that day, like, I never look back. When there's an issue that comes, sometimes, you know, we're human. Sometimes I do overreact a little bit for situations, but I think that having that ground, that foundation and that grounding of being solution-minded and always trying to figure out ways of getting around it versus focusing on the issue. So I think that has been one of the key principles to my success, and I think anybody's success, especially in the entrepreneurship kind of realm. And so yeah, that was just something that I wanted to share with you guys. So I just want to start making these videos. I really want to get more into kind of like the mindset and really be able to share and be transparent about things that I've learned along the way, to kind of build that, like, to understand what goes into it, the mindset of what goes into like building organizations. There's been a million setbacks. There's tons of setbacks every single day. There's tons of like fires that I have to fight like every single day that's stressful. And I just want to be able to kind of like shed some light on some of the stuff. Some stuff I can't talk about because it deals with clients or it's confidential stuff, but just really express kind of like my thoughts and my process of where we are, and be able to add value to like really help with somebody that may be going through the same things. Because if you have an idea and you're brave enough to take that idea, to have that vision and to go after it, it's gonna be hard. Like, it's gonna be challenging. It's gonna be very difficult to not only get past the hurdles that people throw at you, the people that say no, the people that try to laugh at you, the people that talk about you, the people that, turn their back on you, the people that, don't believe in what you're doing, and to have the confidence to go after what you want and not care about that is just, it takes incredible strength. But it's a process. It's hard. It's very lonely. It's very lonely. Sometimes you're in your head and there's nobody that you can really talk to that can understand. And especially when you have a team, you have to be the boss in the sense of like understanding and having the vision, and being able to not necessarily not show weakness, because I think there's a lot of power in vulnerability and just being able to be real and authentic and to be able to have empathy with people. But just understanding that you're taking this journey and it's a lonely journey and it's a process and it's something that you're gonna have to go through alone. You'll have your people around you, you'll have people that understand and could kind of like relate. But at the end of the day, it's a very, very interesting ride that you have to go through. But it's fun. I mean, there's a lot of ups and downs, and I think that we live in a space right now where entrepreneurship is very cool. It is very like trending and hip and all of that stuff, but it's not for everybody, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you have to be able to have a whole entire team in order for things to move forward. It's about coming together collectively as a team and moving forward. It's funny, my mentor always told me, like, you have to treat the janitor and the CEO with the same amount of respect. It's like I see a lot of people kind of like have their head up and kind of feel that they're in a different space as somebody, whether that's in a different position, whether that's in power in an organization or financially. And I just think that the same people you see going up is gonna be the same people you see going down. So always treating everybody with respect, always, making sure that you're reflecting that energy that you want to give back. And so, like I said, I just want to start making these videos. Hopefully it helps somebody. Hopefully you can take something from it. I think that I've watched several videos and several kind of like stories and stuff that helped me along the way of just like wanting to give up and wanting to quit and just like, I'm done with this. And I think, sometimes it just takes hearing that one kind of idea or hearing that one sentence that kind of changes your outlook of what you're doing. So I just want to make sure that I'm providing like some value. So hopefully, I could pass it on and pay it forward, and somebody could hear something from what I'm saying that could kind of like give them the confidence to keep going and moving forward. So hope you guys enjoy these videos. Like I said, I'm gonna be consistent, start doing more of these. And I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you've got any value from this, tag someone that you think should hear it, repost it, and yeah, have a great week.